Hello, beautiful goddess. Oh my gosh, welcome to With Kind Awareness. My name is Nejma, I'm your guide. Today is so freaking excited because this is not just your usual live. Today we're actually doing a live training, and I had so much to give you that it's actually going to be a 3-part training. It was supposed to just be 1 part, but hey, we're over delivering here. So, is being loved costing you your freedom? Provocative, I know. So I have notes over here. If you see me, I have notes here as well. So if you see me looking, I just have like pages of notes, but I'm gonna keep that on track with my notes. So if you see me looking, I'm still with you. I'm gonna also be looking in the chat. So if people come on and they want to interact, let's make it interactive. And if you're catching the recording, please share in the comments and interact. I know some of you just want to be a fly on the wall and just watch this thing, but you get so much more out of any type of training when you're more engaged. So don't even do it for me, do it for yourself, because I'm here for you, to serve you, and I really want you to start transforming your life with what I'm going to start to share with you. I'm going to share with you 3 shifts. Hold on one sec. Yeah. So I'm going to share with you 3 shifts. So it's like 1 per day. It's going to be a week in between and then 2 weeks in between because I'm traveling to the UK. Yay! Who's going on vacation? Okay. And these shifts are going to help you shift from the good girl, hello Luna, to your goddess. And you might not understand right now what it means, okay? But this is the thing, like, why am I saying, like, is being loved costing your freedom? Because unfortunately, a lot of us, oftentimes unconsciously, feel like we need to do a lot to be loved. So we're kind of like on this endless chase for receiving love, appreciation from the outside, praise, in whatever form. And performing and thinking we need to be different than who we are. And we're putting all these layers on top of us, the layers of the good girl, perfectionism, controlling. And I'm going to talk deeper into that, but we think that that's going to get us to be loved. And it might work a little bit, but we're working so hard on it that sometimes and oftentimes, and that was my journey, it feels like I can be free. Whew. This is all so freaking heavy. Meeting everybody's expectations and all of that stuff. Gosh. But I want to be myself. I want to be free to be myself. And I just want to kind of like put that all down. And so that's why sometimes it feels like I need to choose between being loved and being free. And I felt that for the longest time in my life. And that wasn't really a good feeling. Right? There was a lot of suffering. And being the good girl, trying to do everything right and correctly in order to people to love me and accept me and all of that is not worth it. It doesn't even work. It's not worth it. And it comes with so much pain. And what I've discovered is like coming to the goddess. It's so much lighter. It's so much more fun. I have so much more energy. Like, so much so people might think sometimes I'm on drug, which I'm not. Okay? So if you want that, stay tuned because you're going to learn these 3 massive shifts that I've done, because really my own special signature method, so to speak, to go from that good girl, which I'm going to define a bit more so you really grasp it, to the goddess, which we're going to go deeper into as well. And you're going to have a taste for the signature method with these 3 big shifts. So, okay, so that's what we're going to do today. And if you love this training and you get something from it and you know that there's other women out there who can benefit from that, because my mission is that as many women who are ready get access to this information. So you don't have to stay in this suffering state and you can actually uncover your true self, start to experience levels of happiness and joy and fun and all that in your life. And people think like, oh my gosh, how do you have so much energy and joy and aliveness? What are you taking? I want some of that. Okay. And you're like, nothing. I'm high on life, baby. Right? And so it's available. So every woman on this planet knows they don't have to choose between being loved and being free. They can have both. And by actually having both, it's so much more powerful. That's actually the answer. Okay, so if you share this, so I'm gonna just make it fun for you guys. I wanna you can enter a prize. So every time you share and you tag me, you'll enter a draw. And at the end of the three trainings, I'll pull a name and I'll tell you at the end of this training, well, you'll win and a bit more on that. But just for now, you'll win some cool stuff. Okay, so enough of this. Let's go to the juice. So, good girl. The good girl has so many different layers. The first story I want to tell you is there was a time where I was deep in the good girl, really deep in it. And I had someone close to me in my life where we weren't super close. Like we were in that phase where we weren't really that connected. And I saw on her Instagram page that she had graduated from college. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, right? I was not made aware that was coming up, right? But we weren't all that connected. So that makes sense. But I was like, I want to do it right. I don't want to be like criticized later. Plus, I cared about this person and I wanted to do the right thing. So I'm like, I'm not going to just comment on the Instagram just like everybody else. Oh, congratulations. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm going to actually take the time to text this person and let her know. And I texted her and then we had it back and forth. Oh my gosh, congratulations. This is so amazing. How'd you feel? All of that. I'll need to find later that some other people that knew us contacted me and were actually very upset at me because how dare I only text and not call or even send flowers, because some people who weren't as close went to these lengths. So I had this hour and something call with this person. It was huge because I felt, oh my gosh, I'm trying to do everything right. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt you're trying to do everything right, but it's never freaking enough? It's never freaking enough. And there's always a reason for someone to be upset at you anyway, or disappointed or anything like that. So in that moment, what happens when we're stuck in the good girl, and you'll learn through this, is that the good girl is very externally focused, right? We want to be loved. We're looking for outside of ourselves because we don't have it from within for any proof that we're lovable. And so when there's any time someone's upset or disappointed or feel that we were wrong, it hurts so bad. And so it's almost unbearable. Have you felt that ever? When, you're trying to do the right thing, you think it's all good, you're aligned, you're like, okay, I did the right thing, you're happy, and then someone comes and you were wrong because this and that you didn't even expect, and you're like, oh, what? And then suddenly the wrench inside, your insides are turned on themselves, so it hurts. So what we do, we try to fix, right? We try to fix it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Right? Or my favorite, I spend so many hours and energy doing that in my life. We defend like nothing's holding us back, right? Because we can't bear the idea of being wrong, because what would that mean about us? I mean, does it mean now we're not lovable? We're bad? What? No, that's too hard to feel. That feeling needs to go. It's unbearable. So either we fix it and the person likes us again, or we're no, but you don't understand. No, but I just did the right thing. I didn't just reply. I wasn't even made aware of this graduation. I actually took this step to connect the person. The person was totally fine. We had back and forth. It was connected. It was engaged. And I thought by explaining that the person would understand and then they would like me again. But people rarely do that. And then when you start to defend, the other person doesn't understand, and they defend, and then it just ends up in this all like drama, emotional drain. So what comes with the good girl also is so much emotional drain. And I know for me, my way to cope with that, because that's what happens, because there's so much drain with everyday life. Like even before I go to that, so there's kind of like in society or in families, like everybody has their different thing, like things you need to do, or like what people say, like you should go to school, get a good degree, buy a house, have a dog, live in the suburbs, right? And so we're kind of like taking all this on. And I know for me, it got to a point where I had the house, I had the husband, I had the dog, I was going to be a mom soon, I had a career. I was a pharmacist before I was this, and then a Tony Robbins coach, and then serving you guys. But something was missing. Like I wasn't, like it's like, oh, that's the good girl too, right? It's like, I done everything right. Checked all the boxes. Okay. Like I succeeded at life. Life is, I mean, I'm not unhappy, but I don't know, like something's kind of missing, but I'm not sure what it is. So I kind of find myself actually searching, like it was my day off. I'm sitting at the computer and I'm searching. I don't even know what I'm searching. And I come across life coaching. I had no idea what that meant, what it was. I looked for the definition, guys. So, but that's just to say, like, when we're so in the good girl persona and the layers of stuff, like, and we're trying to tick the boxes and keep people happy, and we're doing everything right, and we're just so invested in that outside, there's this disconnect with who we are. What was missing, I know now what was missing, I didn't know back then. What was missing was my truth. What was missing was a sense of me and what I like, what I want. What is a successful life for me? What would make me, what would light me up? Not just like, okay, I can relax now that I've ticked all the boxes, I make everybody happy, I upset no one, and I do all the efforts possible to manage people's emotions. What a life. And then we wonder why we feel like something's missing, because it's so outwardly focused. So I started doing the inner work, right? Started to like go on the loophole. Like I found life coaching, then I found spirituality, and like I dove deep into like all the YouTube stuff I could find on personal development, and then I took courses and stuff. But it came to a point where I was really good at like keeping myself centered and rooted in my center, at home, at peace in myself, until I would get a text. I would go in the big bad world, right? And then someone would say something and I would say, thank you so much. I had an awesome day. I was feeling good. And you had to say or do that. Thank you for ruining my day. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt that way? Like you're so good, but then something comes on, or someone says something the wrong way, or looks at you, or cuts you off at the traffic, whatever it is. And you're like, ah. And then I would go to work. And people, how are you? Oh, I'm good, but like this person, and blah, 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 blah. And then that would stay with me. That would stay with me. Why? Why is that part of the good girl? Is because, remember, we're focused so much on the outside, right? For mirroring back to us if, you know, we're good, we're loved, all that stuff. So it's like the outside has so much weight on her internal world, on how we feel. People like me, I feel good, right? People praise me, I feel happy. I get what I expect of life, I'm happy. So there's a little bit of like that victim mentality, like things happening to me, and not really taking responsibility for how we feel, because we're so much focused on getting what we need from the outside. So when someone does or says something or that triggers us, it's like, gosh, like now we're like in the blame. But then what would happen, and tell me if that happened to you too, we get triggered, we get upset, and then time passes, and we're like, I did not handle that well, did I? And suddenly, now we're the wrong one. We're the bad girl. We're not the good girl anymore. And we're like, shoot. And guess what comes back? The wrenching feeling of like, the pain that's almost unbearable. So what do we need? Are we going to try and fix it? Are we going to try and argue how we weren't wrong actually? How it's a misunderstanding and maybe the other person was wrong for some reason. Maybe we go and call all our girlfriends and tell them the story to get them on our side so we can feel safe and we can feel justified that no, we actually are good. We are right. We are okay. Have you ever done that? I have spent so many hours in my life on the phone with people or with my partner and just recounting again and again and again until I felt like the person really got it and I was feeling like justified. And that is freaking painful. Is it painful for you? Like, let me know. Like, am I the only one? I'm sure I'm not. I've also worked with clients and I know they're feeling the same way, but like, seriously, we do this. Why? Because we have these layers of the good girl. We might not see it that way, right? But we're looking to please, we're looking to be accepted, we're looking to be loved, we're looking to do things the right way, we're looking to not be wrong, not be bad, because it just feels so bad inside. And that's why oftentimes there's a little bit of like, people call us the control freaks, right? We want to control either people's opinions, or we're calling all the girlfriends, tell us our side of the story, and right? Or controlling our environments. I know for me, I was very much like touching upon the perfectionism, right? Because what? I want to do things right. We talk about ticking the boxes, but that's the same thing. Like, I don't want to be made wrong by anybody, so I need to know what are the rules for everything. I was obsessed with setting expectations, with understanding the frame and the rules. And I remember even more so, like one time I was seeing a psychologist for some childhood stuff. I was early in my first marriage and I wanted to be a good wife. This was new for me. I just had gotten married and we moved into like an apartment together and I wanted to be a good householder and all that stuff. And I asked her, I was very concerned, knowing how often you should wash your walls and windows. That was a really real concern of mine. And she said, well, how often do you want to wash them? And I thought she was completely crazy. What do you mean, me? I mean, I might, if it's just up to me, I might never wash them. I don't know. She's like, well, then don't. Then I felt like she really lost it. Like she's lost it. What? You can't do that? And how does that feel? Like, it felt so heavy for me. And I don't know how it is about you, but I know for me and for people I work with, like, there's kind of like this point where you're like, you've accumulated a bunch of to-dos. Like, it's like this never freaking endless list of all the things you need to do. And if we're frank with ourselves, in order to be good, in order to be loved, accepted, not be made wrong, like that all kind of boils down to that. We want to do everything right. So, well, you can't do anything against me, or like, look, I did all the things. So sorry, like you don't have no leg to stand on. But that became so heavy for me. And I know, I'm sure it's heavy for you too, but you let me know. And that's often why sometimes, like, when we go on vacation, it feels so good, because like all this weight of like the day-to-day life, we get to put it down. We get to put it down. And then on vacation, we don't even have to like make our meals most of the time. We're just no responsibilities. We might even not have the kids if you have kids, no pets. Like, oh my gosh, you just have to handle yourself. And I went on a training back then in Portugal for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, not 2, 3. And 3 weeks is a long time. And so that was enough for like to transform a lot and really feel like almost like renewed. Like it was like refining myself. And then I came back home, and I remember sitting in the living room and feeling like I did not want to pick my life back up. But what I had the mind to realize back then, because I had already started to work on myself, is that I realized that I was the one who had put all of these things on my back. I was the one who had made it so heavy with all the structure and the to-dos. And when I came back and I had like experienced something like 3 weeks, what's long, and it wasn't like a long weekend or a week, like 3 weeks, I realized like this contrast made me realize that I did not want to live like that anymore. I didn't know what to do back then. Like I knew a little bit, but I didn't have a mentor like me to help me and really kind of break that down. So it took me a little longer, but I eventually was able to figure out how to let go of all these layers of the good girl and to start stepping into my goddess. I didn't know I was doing that, but that's what I was doing. And what happens too, and that's really a big piece, is when we're reactive with other people, we don't react the best way, right? We feel like, especially when we start to work on ourselves, we feel like we should be in the best state. And why do we let things affect us so much? And we feel like so wrong, and people are upset with us. What happens, and that's the most damaging part, in my opinion, of the good girl, is we get so hard on ourselves. But we're the person that we're with the most. So if we're not being our own best friends, like we don't live in a safe space inside of ourselves. So it's very damaging, because if I don't feel safe within myself and I don't love myself, I don't feel loved, guess what's happening? I'm going outside of myself. And we just established that don't work. Okay? So when we're hard on ourselves, oh my gosh, my husband to this day say, oh, of course you're hard on yourself. Like that's your superpower. Like that's how much I'm good at being hard on myself. So tell me, who here is like part of like, that's kind of my superpower. It's nothing to be proud of, but like, let's just own it. I had times in my life where I would write in my journal, you are a piece of shit. You disgust me. You're disgusting. You don't deserve anything. You're worthless. I would say these things to me. And I know I'm not alone saying these things or something along these lines, either in your journal or just in your head. That's also a consequence of the good girl, and it's kind of like this vicious circle. Because I'm so outwardly focused, if people get upset, because of course people are going to get upset. Like people are people, and we're people too, so we get it. Or we make a mistake. Oh my gosh. Are we going to make mistakes in life? Yeah. But as the good girl, even though we know that intellectually, we're smart. We know that. But does it feel that way though? Does it feel like we actually are allowing ourselves to make mistakes? Not this girl. Now, yes, but not this girl for the longest time in my life. That's where perfectionism comes from. Not wanting to be wrong. Failure is what's back? The pain. The gut-wrenching pain. And we need to fix it. We need to fix it somehow. That pain's not comfortable. Why? Because we make failures mean something about ourselves, and then we're hard on ourselves. And because we're hard on ourselves, we don't feel safe or loved within ourselves, so we keep looking outside of ourselves. And now we're looking outside of ourselves and we don't get what we want, so we're like, oh my gosh, I'm such a piece of shit. And then we're like, and then this on and on and on and on and on. Let's get out of the circle. That's like this rat race of the good girl doesn't work. But a lot of us are doing it. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Like we pick up these patterns as we grew up. We see people doing that. We're told like, be a good girl. We're told like, if you listen, you get a lolly. Like there's all these cues as we grew up that we're like, ooh, this is how I get acceptance and love and praise, by being the good girl. And so we take that on. at our heart, we're just very sensitive, loving, beautiful women. We just don't know any better. It's not your fault, but now that you know, now that you're here, it is your responsibility. It is. You can, nothing wrong. With me, there's no right or wrong. We're going to talk about that. Right or wrong is the realm of the good girl. We're going beyond this. We're embracing the duality. If you want to stay the good girl for the rest of your life, I'm going to love you so much and respect you. But my guess is if you're here and you're still listening to this point, you've been resonating with some of the things I've said and you're like, hell no. If there's a better way, please sign me up, because that's no way to live. That's how I felt. Okay, and what happens too is that because it's so unbearable, this feeling that we get from this, something reflected to us, either like making a mistake and people seeing it, or people being upset at us, or not trying to do everything right, but somehow there's always something, and like, anyways, like there's all these expectations and demands, and it's just like, we've established it's pretty draining, right? The perfectionism, wearing all these things and to-dos and stuff, like, oh my gosh. So what happens? We start to procrastinate. We start to try and numb ourselves. Like for me, chips and TV, sign me up, Netflix and chill. Yes, please. I want to not hear my brain talking. And I might even play a game on my phone while I eat and watch something, right? Because I need to be fully numbed. Okay, so we do that. And what we do also is we start becoming a bit of a loner. We start to isolate from people, because people now equals drain, equals pressure, equals expectations, equals like, I don't have the bandwidth for this unless I have to. And even when we're with people, there's kind of like this big shield. Like we're not necessarily allowing ourselves to be ourselves and to be fully engaged, because it's like, let's just yes and stuff and and I want to preserve my peace here. I'm just so freaking tired. But you're not physically tired. You're emotionally, mentally tired. And what happens, I know for me, like, I didn't have hobbies. I don't have energy for that. So all these opportunities to really enjoy my life and do things that light me up, no energy for that. Projects, things on the side, always pushed, always put at the last. Do you have that? Do you have that, like something you'd like to do? And it's been on your list for like months or years, maybe years, yeah? But you never really get to it? That's a sign. That's something that can bring you some aliveness, some excitement, some fun. But it doesn't give you perhaps the praise or the numbness, because the numbing is not because we're bad or anything, it's because we need, that's like the quickest way we found to cope and recharge. And actually like kind of like metaphorically put the good girl down. But there's other ways. So what's the goddess? Like why do we, like, where are we going? Like, okay, there's a better way, but to what? To go where? Like, what's actually possible? Well, let me tell you. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of actually something that happened yesterday. Right now in my life, there's big changes. There might be a move. They're like big changes happening that would require a lot of extra work. And I'm already really busy building a business with my son and all this stuff. Okay. I'm chatting with my friends yesterday. We don't speak to each other that often because we live in different countries and we have our usual catch up. And I'm telling them all about this. Big change, big move, all it implies. And my friend, she's looking at me like this. To the point that I'm like, let me get that for you. Like, I did that on the screen, like, and she's like, you look so radiant. You look so happy and alive. I'm so happy for you. But like, she's puzzled. She doesn't get it, because she's, based on what I said, she's expecting I should be stressed, overwhelmed, losing my shit, maybe a bit triggered, tired, complaining. No, but I'm not. I'm actually choosing to be intentional and to see this as something good and focus. Like, I'm choosing my focus. Because that's the thing. Tony Robbins will say, what's wrong is always available, but so it's what's right. So depending on what we focus on, we're going to feel differently. If I focus on all the drain and stuff and things I have to do and all the why it's happening to me, I would feel exactly how she expected me to feel. But I chose to focus on what's right, quote unquote, although we're going away from right and wrong, what's great about it, let's put it that way. And so I feel good. Hello, girlie. And so even my mom, she called me the other day about this big thing. She's like, you must be very overwhelmed right now. Like, I know you have a lot on your mind. And she's just kind of pacing me. And I'm like, I'm okay. Like, actually, I'm great. So that's like a peek of like what's possible. What if you could face life's challenges and life circumstances with that kind of poise, with that kind of positivity? Because one thing that is for sure in life is that things are not going to go as expected. One thing that's for sure in life is that things are going to change, sometimes unexpectedly, and sometimes in ways we don't necessarily want or have foreseen. People will say things, life will be lifing, people will be peopling. What happens when we're the goddess is that we're not constantly triggered by the outside, constantly at the mercy of all of that's happening to kind of like, this will decide how I feel and how much I'm enjoying my life. Oh my gosh, do you want to do that? Give your life's enjoyment of life and happiness and aliveness in the hands of people and life circumstances, all the stuff you can't actually control. I mean, you can, and you probably have done that, but if you get to choose now, would you choose that? Probably not. I'm gonna guess not. If you do, sweet. Like, you don't need to stay on this training. But if you want something different, like, stick around, because that's what we're talking about. People will say, I can't believe you said that, did that, whatever. You made me feel. Like, you probably heard that in your life. You made me feel bad. You made me sad. You made me so angry. Good girl me would have said, like, whoa, right? Like, no, suddenly I feel like I'm made wrong. That won't work for me, right? The pain, the gut-wrenching pain is coming up, right? So what? Fix, defend, the stuff. Numb, all. As the goddess, I'm able to be with that. I have the personal power to hold it without it affecting me. But, okay, massive, awareness trigger here. Like, we're not going to, like, I don't care. That is the standard, right? Okay, like, I'm gonna go from the good girl to what I call the rebel. Okay, pendulum. So pendulums, like pendulums. When we go to one extreme and we let the pendulum go, what happens, it goes to the other extreme. And then what happens then is that we keep finding, like, we're dizzy. We're going from one extreme to the next. We want to learn to start dancing in the middle. That's where the goddess is. We got the good girl and the rebel all the way over here. The rebel, and we're going to talk about the rebel tomorrow. That's going to be, not tomorrow, sorry, next week. Next week is going to be part 2 of this. We're going to deep dive into that, and you're going to get a lot of realizations on that. But that's not what we're doing. The goddess is able to, like, for example, if someone says to me, you made me feel so sad, or you make me feel upset, or something of the likes, I'm able to say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Tell me more. Like, what happened in your mind? Like, what did that mean for you? Like, that was so not my intention. Like, let's talk about it. But in a place, and I hope you're really feeling me, like, from a place where I actually care. I care. I mean it. But I'm not like, oh my gosh, tell me what I did wrong. Like, I'm not going to do that again. Like, I really want to understand so I don't repeat it. That was a good girl. I would have done that in the past, most likely. Or defend or try to fix, but that's kind of trying to fix. Just really being able to be with people. And you wouldn't believe how much people appreciate that. If you came to me or someone in your life and you just said like, you made me feel mad and I can't believe, and they didn't meet you with that same energy, like either like avoiding or trying to fix you or defending, and they just said, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. What happened? That was not my intention. Let's talk about it. You would start to melt. Like, not you physically, but that anger, that stuff, that sad, like you would feel seen, you would feel heard, you would be held. That's what's possible. We think the good girl rebel, like that, but do you see how you don't have to choose between being loved and being free the way you think? But when you're here, the possibilities of being actually connected with people and have deep relationships magnifies. And you get to connect also from your true self. You don't have to hide parts of you or start to perform. You can be with peopling, because they will. I think that's the thing. Like in The Good Girl, I remember even the rebel, I was constantly chasing for people, not peopling. I can't believe this person lied to me. I can't believe this person said this in that manner. I can't believe this person betrayed me. I can't believe it. People will do that. I have yet to find someone to tell me that they never even lied once in their life. That doesn't mean they have bad intentions. In The Goddess, and a big thing, a big shift is, and that changed my life, is from having to, which is a lot of The Good Girl. I have to, right? Perfectionism, ticking on the boxes. I have to be nice to people, right? There's all these pressure and expectations that we need to meet because we don't have to have that gut-wrenching feeling that maybe we're not lovable and worthless and disgusting and whatever you say yourself, okay? So that's the have to realm, which feels horrendous. And that's why we procrastinate and numb and all these things also. Two, I choose to. In The Goddess, I get to be intentional and actually choose from my truth, my wants, my desires. But not going to the extreme of like, well, it's my truth, you handle it or not. No. I can choose my truth and be also rooted in love. I can hold self-expression, love, and grace at the same time, and compassion and kindness and all these things. Just like this example of like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What happened? You can tell that I'm not like self-deprecating and I'm bad, but I'm not just like, well, I'm sorry, but those are your emotions and they're your responsibility. You make it mean something. I'm sorry, but not my problem. I mean, I'm holding my own. You got to hold yours, right? It's none of this. And so with the choosing to, it changes the frequency of the thing. If let's just say tomorrow is my son's award ceremony. If I said, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, I have to go to the ceremony, it's at 9:30, I have all these things to do, I need to post my YouTube video, that feels horrible. But do I really have to? I don't. Well, someone say, of course you have to, it's your son. Well, I mean, I could not go. There would be consequences to that. You'd be sad. Other people might think things, like whatever. There's consequences to that. And there's consequences to going. I'm not working on what I'm supposed to be working on, and maybe I'm working later. I don't know, right? But we get to choose. If I'm saying like, wait, hold on, and I catch myself all the time. All the time. It's not because I've done the shift that is like, suddenly now I'm the goddess and I'm levitating and my life is perfect. No, there's still challenges. There's still life circumstances. But I choose to. Like recently, and I share that on my feed, and like you can tell my 3-part story, what happened to me. I had a miscarriage. I'm 41, been trying for a second one, and finally got pregnant. There was a lot of bleeding, and I had a miscarriage. I could choose to see that as something happening to me. Like, I still have difficult things that I'm navigating. And I could feel like the victim, and what did I do? But I chose to see it as life happening for me. And I had to remind myself a fair amount of times and do the inner work. It wasn't easy. But I was able to navigate that challenge. And that's available for you too. Because when you stop being so focused on the outside for meeting your needs or for allowing it to trigger you and have all this control of how you feel and how much you enjoy your life, you get to come from the inside out instead and talk to you in a kind way so you can start feeling safe within yourself. When you start to loving yourself, because that's the thing with the goddess, like, it's embracing unconditional love as well. And that was not like an overnight shift from hating myself and being disgusted with myself to loving myself. Oh, let me tell you. But if you follow the process and you start undressing the layers, right? Because my signature method is called the sacred undressing journey. It's not about clothes. It's really undressing the layers, like metaphorically and with empowerment. Then suddenly, in the core of it, like, our goddess is not something foreign you need to become. Everything that I'm telling you right now, like, oh, I've accessed this goddess, and you're like, good for you, right? You have it within you too. It's buried under the layers of the good girl and maybe the rebel and other things. It's there. It's your light inside. It's your core, your true essence. You are pure love already. It's about learning to access that by removing the layers of conditioning, of limiting beliefs, of false identities you have about yourself, of the right and wrong, of maybe some layers of protection and assessing and, okay, should I laugh here? Should I just smile? Should I tell another joke? Like, what do people want here, right? This constant assessing is also very draining. It's part of, like, the good girl again, doing everything right. Like, where you can actually start undressing that. And the having to and all, like, I need to do all these things and have this endless to-do list, or I'm XYZ. That's not needed. Like, I was the queen of schedules. When I was overwhelmed and things were difficult, my husband would laugh because he's like, oh, you're making a new schedule? I was kind of like, that's your thing. Like, I was coping with making schedules pretty much, right? So I brought so much structure, and I took that from, like, the perfectionism and stuff, because if I could just structure it and make it all fit, but that felt so heavy. Who here, I would really like to know, who will make schedules and don't follow them? Or just for a little bit, and then they have to make a new one, right? That guilty as charged. Why? Because as the goddess, what I learned to do is actually trust myself. Actually trust to be in flow. Come from intention, not like adding a structure to me so I need to follow it, because that's also kind of like an outside perspective. Like, tell me everything I need to do. What if we knew what we needed to do? What if we could actually follow our rhythms and our flow and trust ourselves and have a greater intention for what we're looking to achieve? Like, it's amazing to have goals and flow that way and give ourselves, would you like to have spaciousness in your schedules, in your day-to-day life, like in your calendar or wherever, like your planner? Like, you can have times of the day where you can actually feel into what's more supportive for you. That becomes accessible when we start tapping into our goddess. Not something you have to become. You are already. She's just inside, like it's like the core of you, and it's been layered up with stuff you picked up along the way. And I really want you to have a sense of that for yourself. So you don't just take my word, just don't take my word for it. So let me see here. Was there anything else I want to say before I get to our journey? Yeah. Perfect. Okay. And because the goddess, so the good girl gets so easily triggerable, and I think we talked about that, because she's looking to feel loved and feel approved and feel right and good, right? And so anything that reflects like, oh, someone said something in that way, or that person, or like that could maybe even make her feel like she's not, or even someone upset, which is kind of obvious, or even like seeing someone else being wrong. I was like the queen righteous, okay? Like right and wrong. And because I'm so easily triggerable, because like my safety is at risk, my sense of being loved and my worth, like, oh my gosh, at anything outside of me. But also now I'm so triggered by other people because I'm so invested as the good girl in doing the right thing, in pleasing others, in following, taking the boxes and meeting expectations and all of that, and the lists and the to-dos, that when I see other people like doing whatever they want, and it's fine, they can say things, I'm like, I can't believe and they say something in a way that you're like, that, who says that? Like, that's not right. Like, we also get so triggered by that. But the goddess really is a place where she's not bothered. She's unmessable in that sense. Not that she doesn't have emotions. She has emotions, like in my miscarriage. Of course I had emotion. Of course I cried. Of course I had sadness. I allowed myself to feel that. But I also knew that it's up to me. I have choice, coming back to choosing. I have choice if I want to let that run my life and use that to like justify numbing and whatever, or change my mentality about it, or my mindset about it, I should say. That life's happening for me. And other things that feel so much better than whatever I was focusing on. And now I'm not so triggered by peopling. I'm not so triggered by people upset at me. Why? Because I'm not so much, and that's the shift number one. And that's what I'm showcasing to you with these stories. And hopefully you can connect and really feel into that. The shift number one is to shift from outside in to inside out. The good girl is all outside in, and we know it doesn't feel good. The goddess is inside out. So she's able to hold things, challenges or circumstances, people being upset, people peopling, and she's holding herself too. She's her own inner queen as well, of her own inner kingdom of reactions. She responds instead of reacting. So I really want you to get a sense of your goddess, because all these layers, like think about it like Russian dolls. Like there's all these dolls, and like at the center you have like the small doll. Am I pronouncing that right? Doll. Okay. And your goddess is not that tiny. It's just because it's been dimmed, like pressure, but like honestly, it's so powerful. Like when you start removing the layers, like it expands to a point you might have not even know how powerful you are. You are more powerful than you know. You just need to know where to look, and to look is not over there, is here. Okay. So I want to lead you on a journey. So if you're watching the replay or watching now, just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths in. And outside, just kind of release. Just allow yourself to like move your head and your shoulders. Just release the stress of the day and like just any tension you might have. And start grounding yourself into the present moment. And you can feel like some grounding cords, and just let the old grounding cords, like this kind of like beams of light coming from like the base of your pelvis, the base of your head, the soles of your feet, just let the old grounding cords like just fall down into the earth, just being recycled, renewed, and just project some new grounding cords down into the earth. That's right. And take a deep breath in. Hold to the count of 7. And out. Releasing, relaxing, letting go. There you go. I want you to just start paying attention with your eyes closed to your body. To your body and the space around it. And imagine that there's all these layers on top of you, on top of like this core of you. And you might see the layers, you might feel the layers, you might just get a sense, and you might just know they're there. And there might be some layers of protection. There might be some thicker ones that are just like kind of protecting you from people, but also kind of preventing the good to come in. It might be some layers of like, I don't need anyone. Some right and wrong perspectives. Some layers of self-hate, of judgment you have on yourself or others. Certain beliefs about you and life and others that's been limiting you. False identities. All the I am blank. Just notice like all these layers of the good girl, all the things we've talked about that you resonated with, and just get a sense of those layers. And now just journey at the core of you and just really focus on that center light. Notice in the center of you, at the core of you, a light. It might be super small. It might be kind of really bright. It might be kind of contained. It might just be pushing against the layers. Like just have a sense of that light. Your power. Your truth. That is who you are. The layers are not you. The layers are stuff you picked up along the way. So connect with that light, and you can allow yourself, if that feels okay, to even play with it. Like make it shine a little brighter. Maybe it starts to expand a little bit. Maybe breathe it in a little bit in some of the layers. Maybe see if it can have a bit more room to play. See if some layers might be ready to be released. Allow yourself to receive some messages even from the light, like what might be already ready to be let go. Imagine yourself fully embracing your goddess within that light, that you. The coming from the inside out, the being unbotherable, taking responsibility for your emotions and your inner world, but not in a way that you don't care, in a way with grace and kindness and love, and just being so kind with yourself and being able to hold people, hold lifing. Imagine how that's like when you hold and you be that light and you let it shine, how things transform in your relationships. Maybe with your partner or your friend, some family members. Notice what changes in relationships maybe at work, in a group you're a part of, in your neighborhood. Really tap into that light and imagine what it's like when you're really your own goddess, because she is there, she is within you. When you fully embrace her, how are you even with just strangers on the street, in the transportations, and in your car? What's different with your relationship with yourself? Notice what happens to your light. You play with it. You embrace it. Maybe you're feeling some tingling in your body even. Maybe there's some awakening of that life force within you. Allow for any messages from your goddess, from your core, your essence, your true self to come in. Notice what happens to the layers. Notice what's there. But don't make it wrong. It's just noticing. Because we put these layers there for a reason. We had a good intention in doing that. Some of them were put there when we were very young and we just did our best. Bring so much love to yourself right now. And these layers. Yes, they're not you, but you've been wearing them for a long time and they have served you. They have brought you to this point. But they're not going to be taking you where you truly want to go. Your goddess will be leading the way. And so you get to undress the layers and let more and more of your light shine and see your life transform before your eyes. Get yourself back into the room. Feel your feet on the floor or your bum on your whatever you're sitting on. Start moving your body and come back into the room. Welcome back, goddess. This was so beautiful. I'm just feeling so centered right now. I'm like in that state. I would love to know if you felt your light and what you got, if you got any messages. I would love if you would share. Of course, if you'd like to keep it private, you can always DM me as well and have that conversation. But I want to close today our part 1 training by reminding you that if you got a lot from today and you're like, okay, other people need to hear this and start undressing their layers and connect with their core and their true self, which every woman on the planet, but who's ready? Who's going to be hearing it? And you don't get to decide that. You can definitely share it with as many women as you want, or share it in your stories, in your profile. So every time you share it, you get another ticket in the draw. So if you share it 3 times, you get 3 tickets. You get 3 more chances to win the prizes. So the big prize, which I'm gonna pick at the end of the 3 trainings, will be 3 one-on-one sessions with me. So one session is like, I don't sell it at a piece, but it's priced, so to speak, at $333. So that's a really amazing value, and I'm just wanting to support someone who's really wanting to do this work and gift you this time with me so we can really start uncovering and undressing some of the layers and get you closer and closer to your light and create that possibility for you. So one person will be winning this, but I'm thinking about other fun prizes. So depending on how many people actually share this live stream, I might surprise you with some bonus. Share as soon as you can, because you never know when I'm gonna pick a name and you can win a surprise bonus gift, and you still get a chance to win the big prize afterwards if you have more than one ticket in the draw. But you get to share, you at least get 3. So if you share training 1, 2, and 3. And then if you share more times, just make sure you tag me. If you share it in a way where you can tag me, just take a screenshot and DM me and let me know, and I'll keep a tally for that. So I really want to serve you. So either way, and I want to serve as many women as possible. So I very much appreciate your presence. You can also, if you're like, well, I don't want to wait until the end of the 3rd training, because we have our 2nd training next week. Then we take a pause week, and then our 3rd training would be the last week of June. So if you're like, I kind of want to explore this stuff now, you can book a completely free one-on-one exploration session with me where we can start mapping this out and activating some of this stuff for you. And that gives you the opportunity to get what you want to, where you get from this session, depending on what you bring. And I'm going to really support you as much as I can in that time that we have. Those are 45 minutes. And you get to explore if you'd like to work with me further. But I don't push people. I don't do that. This is no strings attached, because I only want to work with women who are ready. I've worked with people who weren't ready before, and I hated it. I'm just gonna tell you, I hated it, and we both didn't have the best experience, because if you're not ready to do this work, you're not ready to actually let go of some of these things and work and be the best version of yourself and actually like create the life you love and enjoy your life and step into your goddess, it doesn't serve you for me and you to work together. So you get to experience that. You get to see, we get to both see if it's a good fit. So if you want to do that, just DM me and I'll have a chat and we can set that up. Okay. And not tomorrow. I keep saying tomorrow. I guess I just want to keep talking to you guys and connecting with you. But next week, we're going to explore the rebel. So we're going to go into a 2nd shift. I'm not telling you what the shift is. You have to come and watch the replay. But that's going to be all around that. And we're going to go deeper into that. Because remember, today was powerful, but it was just shift number 1. From the outside in to the inside out. It's a huge shift. I agree with you. But it's just shift number 1. And there's 2 huge more shifts to come. So please come. Please share. Please share this live stream with people that you know, women that you know will have value from this. And also share with me, either in the comments or in the DMs, what you got from this, what resonated with you, what didn't. Did you get a message? How were your layers? Did you connect with your light? I just really would love to know your experience so I can keep making this better and better for all of you. Okay. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. If you're listening to this, that means you listened to the whole training. And I'm so freaking grateful for your presence. I don't take it lightly. I know there's so many things to distract us and we're so busy. So thank you so much. And my intention for you is that you get so much out of today and our part 2 and 3 and beyond, because this is just the beginning. Mwah! Much love.